highlights channel of the Ranveer Show. This is TRS Clips. Money is low in media, dude, initially. Like, it's very low in media.
Yeah.
And by media, I primarily mean like the world of films, OTT. Pie is too small. So when you go out in Warsaw, you'll see a lot of good-looking people who are effectively urban poor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As in people who think even like 200, 300 rupees is a big spend of money. But they look like 5 crore rupees. Like that good looking. Because they're the best looking people who've come from, say, Kashmir or Bengal or wherever.
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay, if I have to do something with my looks, it's probably in the world of modeling and acting. I'll come to this city. Then they realize the pie is too small. And that's where Madhur Bhandarkar films start in their life. Madhur Bhandarkar films are a little exaggerated, but like some versions of that at least happen. Warsawa's like taught me a lot, dude. It's taught me to be grateful for content creation.
Acha, how?
Yeah. Bro, we are it takes time for a content creator's career to take off. But I think once it does, we are the most efficient money makers.
Yeah, that is true.
Like for example, in the film industry, the pie is too small. There's space for maybe 5 people to make great money.
Yeah.
And the remaining, it's not as great money as people think. Like even the top people in the film industry don't make insane amounts of money. Maybe the top 30 people do.
Yeah.
And I count the top directors and actors in that same bracket. I'm not counting producers in this. I'm counting artists.
It's the top 1%, effectively.
Yeah, but with content creation, the pie is so big.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get this done. Like what we're doing right now in terms of these cameras and all that, 20, 30 years ago the equivalent was probably a newsroom, which took much larger cameras, much larger teams, larger studios, larger rent.
Yeah.
So, kam paise mein, we're creating impact and then making better money out of it and more sustainable money.
Correct.
So, I've really found gratitude for content creation. I've told a lot of my actor friends, my model friends about how they can use their face and their communication skills to get into content, to learn social media and then make a lot of money out of it because the pie is that big here.
True.
And none of them take it up.
Why?
They're too enamored by the world of films and OTT. They have come to Mumbai, a lot of them have either come to Mumbai for the love of acting, like genuinely the love for the art form, or for the love of glamour. It's one of the two. And we are neither. We don't provide them with their acting, art appreciation. And this is not a glamorous industry, dude. We are like chefs, effectively. I have noticed that opportunities in the film industry are given to the people who are in acting for the sake of art. But the thing is, these massive acting opportunities in mainstream cinema, mainstream OTT, as far as I know from my friend Panchami Ghavari, who's a casting director, she said that they look out for people who are the complete package.
Okay.
So you need to be an 8 on 10 actor. You need to be good at acting. You need to have a lot of screen presence. You need to be tall, good body, good looking, well spoken. And then you'll start being given opportunities.
Wow. That's where it starts.
Yeah. You'll start being given opportunities. I have a friend called Prem Parija. He plays football with me.
Okay.
He is 1994 born, so 29. He came to Bombay when he was 19 to become an actor. He's got one of the best physiques I've seen in my life.
Okay.
And recently, after 10 years of hustle, he got his first mainstream show. It's called Commando. Vidyut Jambal had like played the older Commando in that same franchise. He's the new face in that same franchise.
Oh.
I think it's called Commando 2 if I'm not mistaken. And it's doing well. But it took him 10 years of grinding. He worked as an assistant director, casting director, etc. Went for martial arts classes. Built an insane physique, networked a lot, was an overall nice dude, learned a lot. And after 10 years, an outsider cracked it. And he is one of the guys who's considered like a complete package. Good looking, good body, good height, well spoken, etc. But there's very less room. And this I know for a fact because I can't remember who told me this. It was a film producer. Jio has entered the OTT game and kind of effed shit up for the rest of them in the same way that they effed shit up for Airtel and Vodafone, etc. And I say that as a compliment to Jio, that they can just go into an industry and dominate.
Yeah.
So the trend from 2020 to about 22 was that there was a lot more OTT users in the country, Netflix, Amazon. So there was a huge demand for shows.
Yeah.
Then the supply became more than the demand. And now there's not that much of a demand for the shows.
It's actually the complete opposite, bro. Because these OTT platforms like Prime Video, Jio, and Netflix, not Netflix, but Prime Video and Jio particularly, they have gone on to acquire a lot more users, and now they're extremely demanding. Let's say today you open up Prime Video. How many shows do you have to watch? Today you will watch Bombay Meri Jaan. After you're done with that show, what do you have? So now these streaming platforms have been pressurized to either acquire more content or to produce more content. And that will result into another explosion of the industry.
So this is the narrative I had got for all of the last 2 years. And it's this year, like I remember speaking to Panchami a couple of months ago. And she said that, dude, we don't know, but things have gone very dry.
Okay.
And they attributed to Jio coming into the game.
Okay. So you're saying that things have gone dry because Jio is producing more, or Jio does not want more content?
Jio has made a lot of stuff free.
Okay.
Firstly, let's break this down, because even I don't know the exact dynamics, and we're not from the film industry to have an exact insight. I'm talking based on what I've learned from OTT show producers, casting directors, etc. There is an overall lesser quantity of shows being made because Netflix, Amazon, all these guys are playing very carefully. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they are not expanding at the speed that they expected they will expand at.
Yeah, that's true.
And a big reason for that is Jio coming in and offering a free alternative. Maybe the dry phase is possibly just because there's a transition phase and people are figuring out what to do, especially with Jio entering.
Correct.
So maybe if I speak to Panchami 3-4 months later, she'll be like, no, business is back to normal.
Yeah.
Now let's go one layer deeper on why business is back to normal. I think India wants a lot of escapism. It's why Big Boss works. It's why Kapil Sharma also works. And there'll always be room for comedy and entertainment in India.
Yeah.
Which will create a demand for entertaining, masala, oriented stories. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When there's a demand for these masaledar stories, will Jio be okay purchasing from Bhuvan's production house and the production house of other content creators? I believe yes, they might be, because content creators understand content, understand how to grip the attention of masses. And Bhuvan is the first person in that game to actually say, hey, this is a show I've made. You might see a lot of these other entertainment-based creators also making shows.
Yeah.
But we're waiting for that point in the timeline. Which brings me back to Versova and acting and this whole struggling energy I see all around this area. Again, I feel because a lot of these guys and girls have come from interior India or small towns and they're not hanging out in the right circles, which is a huge factor. Their priorities are not right when it comes to media, and they're not focusing enough on making money.
Correct.
And they're fighting for a very small pie. Now, even if that pie becomes much larger a year from now, as we figured from this whole steel manning conversation, for 1 year, they're still going to face rejection. They're still going to be fighting for the small pie, and many of them will end up leaving.
Yeah.
I am still a little cynical about this timeline. While we're saying a 1 year mark, what Bhuvan has done is not easy.
Yeah.
And I don't see enough hustle in the world of content creation, especially in the entertainment domain. I have a friend called RJ Mehvash.
Okay.
She's got into film production.
Okay.
But she's the only other person I know. I don't see enough grind because Instagram pays you so well.
It makes you comfortable after a certain point.
You get 25 lakh rupees for like one reel, dude. If you're a comedy content creator.
Yeah.
25 lakh. What do you do with 25 lakh rupees?
That is insane.
To be able to have that large an audience that you command 25 lakh rupees for a reel, it means that you've understood the masses. It likely means that you've come out of the masses. It likely means that you're a middle class kid whose family has never seen a 25 lakh rupee check in one go.
Correct.
That money makes most content creators lazy.
Correct.
Which makes me respect Bhuvan even more. Which also makes me slightly cynical and makes me think that Bhuvan's Shah Rukh Khan of this space, and I don't think we're going, I'll be surprised if we see that kind of hustle from other people. Which is why I think he's a big exception in this whole game.
You know, right now, like I said, he might look like an exception. But if more people come in, they will see Bhuvan as a pioneer.
Okay. So I think, do you want to cap out this film industry and content angle?
Yeah, let's move to something else now.
Let's move on to this predictable path. This has always made efficiency-based sense to me.
Yeah.
If you're getting into content creation, set up your businesses first.
Correct.
Make the money, because then you'll figure out how to produce your films if at all you want to. I also kind of feel with acting, and maybe this is something I've learned off the show through all the actors I've met. It's a way more brutal job than business.
Correct.
It's too much pressures, too many mental health battles. A lot of your worth, value, repute, success metrics are based on that last film that you've made, which you've dedicated your last year to.
Correct.
It's like 1 year of mehnat can easily flop as well. With content, it's like every day we're doing something. So you get to decide your journey. There is a trade-off. But at some point, if you want to reduce the trade-off, focus on the business side. And I think now, even on the podcast, we've spoken a lot about content creation to business as a transition. But I think the Janta generally knows this now. So these are playlists made especially for you. We've tailor-made learning experiences for you on TRS Clips.